Hello everybody, hello second channel viewers. This is a bit of a test recording, if you will, a test rant. I've been thinking about doing rants recently, unscripted things where I just talk to the camera and just try to say shit, bullshit my way and try to get a generally entertaining video because I've been writing a few scripts and, some of them work, some of them just fucking kamikaze right into the fucking wall. They don't work. They just fall apart at some point because they either get too bloated or I don't know. They just don't work. So I'm gonna try my hand. I'm just gonna talk about some things, and if I can get them good enough, I'm gonna give them a little editing, just a little spicy editing, put on my main channel. But this is second channel. This is the exclusive. This is the first test here. It's a little like podcasting, but more brief. But not less rambly. So what I want to talk about today is I want to talk about a show that I've been watching a lot of recently. Because it's, I was thinking, what's a good first thing to start ranting about? Well, it should be something that's on my mind currently. Well, I want to talk about It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. A show that's very popular on the internet. I mean, it's well known for being a very mimetic show. It has many elements that the internet has taken and memed, and it's ingrained into the current internet culture. And I kind of just want to do an overview of what I love about it, some of my favorite episodes, and just generally talk about it on this phone speaker. That's right, not using a fucking mic, 'cause this is a test, okay? So, let's start from the beginning. My history with this show is kind of interesting, actually, because I became interested in seeing the show first when my friend group started talking about it a lot. That me and Adam, Dylan, Owen, the Chilling Skeletons guys, that, and they were talking about it on Sleepy Cast a lot, I think, and that got me interested because the way they were describing it was very funny. So in 2014 or so, I managed to get my hands on a perfectly legal copy of the show, and I watched the first few episodes, and it was funny. I liked it. The first episode, I believe, I don't know if this was the first episode, but one of the first episodes is the one about the abortion rally, where Mac gets into the anti-abortion thing to for some malicious purposes to hook up with this one girl. I think that was one of the first episodes, and it was very funny. It was the very on-brand kind of dark vibe to it. Dark humor that portrays the characters as these fucking, manipulative assholes who will do anything to get their way and such. And, yeah, I like that. But I only watched a few episodes, and I don't know what happened, but I lost my perfectly legal copy of the show. It might have been hard drive space or some shit. I don't know. I don't know why I lost it, but for years I wasn't able to watch the show because, well, first of all, it wasn't on any common streaming services, and two, it was a hard search phrase to type into my perfectly legal blah 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 thing. Yeah, it's a hard phrase to type in. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It just didn't work. So for many years, I didn't have access to it. I would actually see episodes every now and then because my brother had access to some HBO shit. He showed me a few episodes, and I always thought it was funny, but only recently did I get access to it. Funnily enough, on Disney Plus. Now let me clarify here. I didn't get Disney Plus. This is something my family got, and they were like, "Hey, you want to try it?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll try it," because I wouldn't want to give my shit, but it's there. Why not? And It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is on Disney Plus. Don't know why. Yeah. But let's go season by season. First season, standout episodes. Well, the one where Charlie lies about having cancer. That's a very good one. That's a classic first season episode. The thing I like about that one is the first scene of the episode where Charlie is he's so casual about it, just talking about, hey Mac, so yeah, I have cancer. Yeah, not feeling too good about it. It's so weirdly sad, but it just feels so real in a way. It's just yeah, I mean, I have cancer now. And, yeah, that was a very funny episode. Season 2, Danny DeVito comes in, And I think at first, I don't know if this is, I don't know, it's entirely accurate, but it felt like they didn't know right away what to do with his character, because he wasn't immediately that fucking like insane like scumbag type of, you know, surreal nightmarish goblin man that he became, but he was just a rich dad of Dennis and Dee, and yeah. But he had some good episodes. I liked what the fuck was it? I liked his parts in the the one about, what was it? The gang go on welfare? No, it was Dennis and Dee go on welfare. I don't know, whatever. I liked this part in that where like that episode is just such a good example of early mean spirited It's Always Sunny, where like the fucking it's about they get into it's about Dennis and Dee. You gotta go on welfare, and in order to do that, they gotta like, you know, get addicted to crack or some shit, and then they just get really hard at the crack, get out on the streets, and just everyone just shits on them, brushes them off because they're crackheads now. There's that this famous line at the end of the episode where Frank should have said Frank from the beginning, not fucking Danny DeVito, but when Frank is like, no, I won't take you in because you're crackheads, children. It's very funny. It is a funny line, but I'm not gonna go season by season because frankly I don't remember a lot of the specific seasons, you know, because I watched a lot of it in an insane rush. I watched many episodes, but let's talk about Nightman Cometh. You know, that's a classic episode. That's a good episode. I don't know who this video is intended for, but it's just there. Nightman Cometh is a very good episode, and I think that's well known. I mean, it's a seminal episode. One thing I like about the episode, I don't think it's talked about enough, is the ending when the waitress is just like, okay, can I leave now? And she just completely brushes it off because Charlie's a weird fucking stalker, and he convinced her to just watch this stage performance. Oh yeah, and he told her to like he would back off. He would never follow her ever again after that. He's just like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. And then at the end, nobody's even like. I love how everyone is just suddenly sympathetic to Charlie because everything just fell through in front of this big audience, and you're just like, okay, Charlie, let's go home. Like they're not even mean spirited. It's so funny and in such an awkward way. It's a little Ricky Gervais-esque, I don't know. But yeah. Let's see, where's some other go? I mean, it's classic Charlie work. It's from season 10. That's a big jump forward. That episode, goddamn. Fucking the big 7-minute shot that they had to set up everything, and like, I don't know, like it's insane. Like the logical leaps they did for that episode. How fucking who thought up the idea of fucking like Charlie going into the basement to the smoke detector and just listening out for what note it is for this weird like autistic savant musical skill, then having Danny DeVito play the note of the smoke detector while painted black to meld in with the darkness. It is such an odd, just a beautiful little piece of writing, and that always was the appeal. So it's stunning to me that unlike a lot of live action sitcoms of its ilk, it'll go for such surreal jokes. It's complete surreal, like really dark shit, and that is what I find so fascinating about it. Because it has a kind of Looney Tunes vibe to it, especially Charlie just as a character. How like half of the time he's talking about like goblins and shit, discussing that, or he's talking about how he like, what is it? He goes around chasing crabs or some shit, and it's just he's honestly, if anything, I really do think Charlie might be the most sympathizable character. I don't know if that's the right word, but you know, I'm Swedish. Fuck you. And yeah, I like Charlie a lot. Let's see here. Yeah, you know what? It's very unstructured, but you know, it's a first attempt. I just wanted to vaguely ramble about it and see how I did. You know, I was able to fill up a little time. This wasn't structured. I'm gonna go now. It is, I believe I might have mentioned this at the beginning, but it is 3 a.m. on a school night. I need to be up in around 4.5 hours. Good times. Goodbye.